you look at Kasperi Kapanen, he is, how old is he? Look, 20,
26.
he's
5.
25 right now. He's 25 years old, going to be a restricted free agent. His qualifying offer is only like $875,000. I highly doubt he would accept that, but he's going to have to take a pay deduction after the season he just had, because realistically, if he does sign that 875, you do it in a heartbeat. But
Yeah.
if he wants something close to what he was just making in the deal that he signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs, that's not going to happen. Now, what I actually say is maybe you sign him, because let's be honest, there is no way that he plays as bad as he did in the regular season this year. There's no way he can duplicate that bad of a performance. Secondly, he played pretty well in the postseason on the second line with Evgeny Malkin. He started to pick his game back up. Now, I understand that he's not going to have that level throughout the regular season because it's the playoffs. It's a shorter sample size. You know that you have to go balls to the wall to get the best deal possible. But I don't think he's going to be as bad as he was last year. So maybe you sign him. In my opinion, it is $2 million or under. If that number goes over that, you let him walk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like the idea of the idea of offering him the bare minimum and just seeing what he does with that. Because at this point, yeah, that's about, after the season yet, that's about all that he's worth. Now, again, we know he's better than that. We've seen him be better than that in a Penguins uniform. We've seen him be better than that in a Toronto Maple Leafs uniform. We know he's not that bad of a player.
Mm-hmm.
It's just maybe this season was just a letdown because he had such the extreme expectations of taking the team over while we had injured players.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what he did last year in 40 games, which is 30 points, 11 goals and 19 assists. Solid. And he played through an injury as well. So I think we saw his last season and went, okay, he can now duplicate that, be better in a contract year with guys injured. It's his turn to take the team over, break out, be that player. And then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So maybe the expectations were really high, and that's what made this season feel like a total letdown. But still, I mean, for what it's worth, you look at 32 points on paper and you say it's not terrible, but you have to remember the role he's given.
Yeah, and here's the thing about it. Whenever the Penguins acquired him from the Toronto Maple Leafs, he was essentially a third liner at that point. He had played his way off of the top two lines, away from Matthews, away from Tavares, and he was a third liner. And a lot of Maple Leafs fans are like, you just gave us a first-round pick for a third-line guy. And all of our excuses was, yeah, but he has potential to be he has potential to be a second-line guy, potentially even a first-line guy with Crosby, with Malkin. These are guys that have had line mates play better because simply they're playing on that line. And last year it happened. I mean, 30 points in 40 games was great. Mm-hmm. That's what we wanted to see from Kasperi Kapanen. But this year, in twice as many games, in 79 games as compared to 40 from last season, he scored only 2 more points and had the same amount of goals. That is a ridiculous regression and it's along the lines of his last 2 years in Toronto. He had 44 points in 78 4 years ago, and then he regressed to 36 points in 69 games. Guess what? He's right along the same lines, but even worse with 32 in 79. Like I said, he cannot be worse than that. And if you bring him back on a contract that goes along with him being a third liner, then then you're in a good spot. But if you bring him back and pay him as a top 6 forward, and he doesn't do that, that's when it starts to look bad. So if he's willing to do $2 million or under, I'll even say potentially 2.5. If you sign Kasperi Kapanen for 2 years, 2.5. I wouldn't take a big swing on him. Maybe even a 1-year show me deal like Heinen had last year. I say maybe sign him if it's for the right price and for the right time. I don't think Kasperi Kapanen's really in any position to make any demands at this point. I don't think he's in a great position to negotiate a higher contract at this point. I think if you get him as a third liner for $2 million, you sign him. Otherwise, qualify him. Say if you don't sign that, you're going to be a free agent. That's fine.
I agree with you there. So it lands in the maybe category just because it could go either way.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. He sucked this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah.
It had to be better. The expectations may have been high, yeah, but you didn't even meet some of them. So the money should not be where it was, which was 3.25. It can't be that high again. That's all it is. Yeah. If you get it for much lower than that, absolutely. Sure. See what he can do. Also, just make sure there's no damn clauses on it. Send him off if you need to.
Yeah, no, you cannot give him a modified or full no trade clause. That would be blasphemy at this
That
point.
would be, yes. Those are only reserved for the high quality guys
And Jeff Carter.
for some reason.